What's up guys, name is Dre and welcome to another Genshin Impact video, and today we're doing the DPS tier list update for patch 1.1. So I will do the tier list updates every once in a while. I won't do it every update, but yeah, just by time and when they adding new characters, I want to of course update the tier list. So there are a lot of new adjustments that I want to take. So first, before we go into the tier list, I just want to say that everything is not based only on my opinion. So there was a lot of discussion for this tier list. So I did talk to my friends and I did talk to a bunch of people making this tier list. So for the tier list, we consider every unit to be Constellation 0 except for the Traveler, because he is free to play. You can get him to Constellation 6 free to play. So this is the only unit we consider Constellation 6. And besides him, every other unit is Constellation 0. Second thing is, this is the DPS tier list. So we're looking at main DPS, main damage dealing characters, and ranking them by how good they are in different game modes, like in maps, in dungeons, against bosses, against the Spiral Abyss. So everything in that. Yeah, take everything with a grain of salt. You might disagree with some points, but this is at least the opinion. Even I do disagree with some points, but yeah, at the end I have to commit into some things that my friends are thinking, because they do know certain characters better than me, because they do use those characters, and that's the big difference. You try to use, and just by time we want to build out every character that is on the screen. So currently we did try way more characters after 2 months of playing, but yeah, without further ado, let's now just hop into the tier list. First thing that I want to do is to add characters that we don't have on the tier list. I think the first thing that I want to do is to put Zhao out on the tier list, because we currently do not know when Zhao will come and when he will be a part of the game. So that's the reason why we want to put Zhao off, because we thought he will come way earlier when we made the tier list. First thing is, yeah, last time I didn't do the Traveler in Nemo and Geo. This time I want to add the Geo character, and I would say the male one is the Anemo. So the male one is the Wind Anemo and the female one is Geo. So we want to add the Geo character up in the B tier. So yeah, you can orient, of course. We also try to rank them by during the tier, so it does make sense. Or there is a ranking during the tiers, which I want to talk about in a bit. Now, Lyanna as a DPS unit, we don't think she is very good, but we want to put her over Barbara. Of course, there are some very spicy builds playing Barbara at a DPS character, but to be honest, nobody would run a Barbara DPS if you, for example, can run, I don't know, if you can run Diluc or Mona as your DPS character, then you actually wouldn't really build a Barbara. That's why we still decide to let her in the D tier. Adding Lyanna, because you won't build Lyanna on a offensive build, you will go more the HP route, because she does scale on HP. That's the reason why we don't think that she will be a very effective, a very good damage dealer. Next addition is Childe. Childe was a very tough one, to be honest, because I'm a bit biased to the character. I don't want to say now, for now he is my favorite character, because I don't know what is coming, but yeah, definitely out of all the characters that are out currently in the game, I would say he's my favorite character. That's the reason why it was very hard for me to look at this objectively. That's the reason why I did ask a bunch of other people, but his playstyle is very unique. It is like very strange. That's the reason why we want to put him in the S tier for now, not in the SS tier, definitely not. So that's what I wouldn't do. In the next update, we may consider to put him back in the A tier, or we want to move him above, like on the top S tier. But I don't want to guarantee that he will be in the SS tier, but there is the possibility that he can go up and move one tier up. Now let's look at the adjustments that we want to do. This tier, this row, I think is still alright. it's Constellation 0, we do think these are C tier characters. So C tier doesn't actually mean that the characters are bad, same with D tier. They are still viable if you play them as a DPS character, but the thing that we want to, or that I want to show you is what I would recommend more to build on the DPS characters that scale way harder. And we still do think that even this is this ranking, so Lisa at the best C tier, is still accurate. So we may want to put Noelle over Shinkyu. The list is lagging a bit, so yeah, we want to put Lisa over here and Noelle as the second best C tier character. Venti, we did test Venti a lot in the time because we have a lot of people that have Venti, but currently we still do think Venti is a B tier DPS character. So in my opinion, Venti is like the best unit in the game. He has literally everything that a unit needs besides damage, but he can make everything usable. His ultimate is literally, in my opinion, in my personal opinion, the best unit in the game. And yeah, we don't think that he is worse than the Travelers or he is nearly C tier. So that's the reason why we move him 2 spots up. There's a big adjustment that we want to do here is, I think we were a bit we just watched some gameplay and then we thought, yeah, Klee is like not too good, but now I pulled Klee. I did play her quite a lot and I do have to move her up here. She is the unit with the highest damage potential in the game, and yeah, that's the reason why I want to move her up in the SS tier. Jean, I also did play Jean quite a lot, so I want to move her up in the A tier. I do think she is a very good damage dealer, very solid, but she's not too crazy. She cannot compete with the S tier units. Changings in the B tier, I would say Bennett goes over Ningguang at Constellation 0 as a DPS character. He's alright, but he's like not that thing that you really want in a DPS character. So Chongyon, we want to move in the upper B tiers. Maybe in a later list we want to move him back up in the A tier, but then more in the spots here, so at the end of the A tier. But I do think that at the beginning of the A tier he is a very good unit. Problem with him is he's only doing really damage with his abilities, not so much with his auto attacks, so he loses to a lot of other Claymore users that do way more damage with their normal attacks. Jingling, we also want to move down to the B tier. So we have quite a lot of different people that use Jingling over the time. She's very good, she can deal quite a lot of damage, but it doesn't really compete with the A tier. So the thing that we always wanted to ask is, can she compete with these units that are in this row currently? And yeah, we don't think that she can compete with the A tier at the moment. Now, next thing that we want to make in the A tier is that we want to move up Razor. So we have a Razor main, so shout out to my boy Chopper. He does main this unit, and at the beginning when we made the tier list, I thought he was a bit biased on Razor, but that was a bit I would say mistake on my part. I did overlook this guy a bit. He is very strong and he can compete with Diluc. He's not on the same tier, but he has a very high damage potential, and that's the reason why we want to move him up into the S tier. So definitely the strongest DPS character out of the 4-star characters when it comes to raw damage. Then Razor wins over every other 4-star unit. Now DPS wise, I do think Fischl is way up here. She is so good of a unit. So as a DPS character, she is very, very amazing. So that's the reason why we want to put her up in the A tier. She's like not S tier as a DPS character, because I do think archers aren't too strong as DPS characters. Of course, beside of Childe, because his kit does change his stances. But yeah, I think the ranking for the A tier is alright. Kichi, I do have a couple people that use her and she can do quite a lot of damage. She is very good. That's a really a unit that I like to have. But currently, yeah, the A tier is alright. Beidou, a very versatile unit, a very strong unit, so she literally can do everything. She has a shield, she can give the shield, she does do a lot of damage, she is tanky. So overall as a unit, I do think Beidou is very strong. But as a raw pure DPS, she cannot compete with the S tier, so that's the reason why we want to put her here. So there would be the possibility to do maybe this, but I do think that if you build like a, no, yeah, like this, but I do think that if you build Jean on DPS, I think she will out damage a Beidou, and that's the reason why we want to keep this direction. S tier. So there aren't too many changes in the S tier, so we still want to keep those 4 characters. Childe with a question mark currently. So I think every one of us pulled a Childe, so we will definitely do a lot of testing when the next character, when Zhongli will release. So that's the time when I want to update this tier list again. And yeah, Kichi, we actually have just a few people with Kichi, but I do think her damage potential can go into the SS tier, but we have to test it. So for now we want to leave her at the top spot of the S tier. Mona is very strong. I do think Mona can out damage even Razor and Childe, and I do think Razor can out damage Childe just for now. So this is the thing that we have to test for now, but currently I do think in theory Razor will always out damage a 0 constellation Childe. The thing on that is, even if Childe would out damage Razor, so even if I'm wrong, the thing is Razor can stay out a lot longer than Childe can do. Childe is bound on his cooldown of his E ability, so I did build a Childe already, so I have a showcase for him, and potentially, so that's very important, I do think he can go up from damage wise to the level of Diluc. I don't think he can go up to the level of Klee, but I think he can out damage Diluc, and maybe he's on the level of Kichi. But the problem of course is he only can do this in 30 seconds, and then after this you have to change your stance and you have to swap into another character to get his cooldowns back, and that's the very big downside on this character. So he is not a standalone DPS character, he needs a second DPS character to work, which all these 5 characters here don't, and that's the reason why we want to put them at the bottom of the S tier. So still very strong unit, don't get me wrong, but that's the opinion that we currently have from Childe. SS tier, that is tough. So Klee definitely out damages Diluc by 4, so it's not even close. But the thing is, Klee needs a healer, or she does need support to work. She's very clunky, she's very squishy, she can deal a lot of damage, but this is a problem. She's small, she's slower than other people, and yeah, that's the reason why I would put her behind Diluc. I still do think Diluc is the best DPS in the game, so that's my personal opinion. Diluc he can stay out on the field way longer, he does deal way more, he does deal quite a lot of damage. It is enough damage to keep with every content in the game. He will have no problems for the Spiral Abyss. Spiral Abyss floors 9 to 12 are dominated by Pyro characters. That's another reason why these two are in the SS tier. Pyro is such a strong element in this game currently. So yeah, another reason why Childe is up here, but I do think water is still a very nice element because it is so dependent to make vaporized damage, and yeah, that's the reason why I do think that this is the current take on our tier list. So we definitely want to make some adjustments as soon as Chongyon and Zhongli will release, so this will take us about a bit more than 2 weeks from now. After this we want to do some more adjustments. Currently we're building out a Lyanna. We start to build out Bennett. It will take us quite some time because most of us still working on Childe, trying out some different builds with him, but after this, yeah, we want to do some new adjustment for the tier list. For now, this is our take on the DPS tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys do, subscribe to my channel for more Genshin Impact content, and see you guys next time. If you guys want to see more Genshin Impact content, videos should pop up on the screen right now. Make sure to check them out, and I thank you for your support.